Oh, that. Well, that's a pretty big story. Let me. Uh, well, let's just say, okay. I'm gonna start from the beginning because it's quite a big story. So, what I'm gonna do is just, start off from, the start. Anybody that knows me and everything knows that I had an OkCupid account, and I would every now and then I would try and see if there was any worthwhile matches. But to be honest, well, I finally went out with this girl who I thought at the moment. I'm just gonna talk at the moment, not the result. Just at level with me here. At the moment, I thought was fantastic. Like wow, she's been through a couple of things just like I did or whatever. And I thought, like, wow, she's amazing. And she's smart. And, she's got a great smile, great sense of humor, and this and that. And this is all gathered before we met in person. So, level with me again. And I thought, wow, she's fantastic. So I kind of, kept going and insisted, let's meet, let's, go out or whatever, because I was excited, I was like, wow, not every day you get to meet somebody that is, your age or whatever. And I thought, like, wow, she's really amazing, but she kind of avoids going out. And every single time that I would, propose, let's go out, let's meet up or whatever, she was doing something or she was studying. And I'm like, I tried to give her the benefit of the doubt, but even I never studied that much when I was in college or in high school or whatever. But I gave her the benefit of the doubt either way. So she was studying or this. But the funny thing is that every time that she wasn't studying, she was either working or, when she would say like, oh, I had other plans. I'm like, okay, so I try tomorrow. She had other plans or she's with friends or whatever. And I'm like, Jesus, for somebody who wants to meet somebody new in her life, you kind of avoid the subject pretty badly. But, I kept going because it was exciting. I am a patient person. And I just kept going. And I thought that it would lead to something, pretty awesome. And, let's see. Finally, I kept going and kept going and kept going, insisting to meet up. I have been an OkCupid for a while, and my experiences have not been positive at all. And counting this, but let me keep going. So, finally, one point I remember it was a Tuesday, I think, and finally she's like, trying to like avoid it at the same time, but she was like, oh, I'm sweaty or whatever. And I just got off of Walmart. I'm like, okay, then go home and shower and we can meet up, whatever. And she finally agrees. I'm like, holy shit, really? So there I was, like, wow, shit. I wasn't expecting it because I was like, yeah, whatever, you're just going to say no. She's going to say no. And because that's what's expected now at this point. So all of a sudden she says yes. And I'm like, okay, shit, now what? And I'm like, I don't want to meet her anywhere close to where I live because, to be honest, I don't want any bad memories with me in the places that I'm familiar with. So I'm like, I've never been to this place, Roadhouse, Texas Roadhouse, and I'm thinking, okay, well, I'll meet you there. And she's like, oh, well, I'm 5 minutes from there. I was like, oh, well, awesome. So I meet her there, and she's fantastic. She's beautiful. She's got a great smile. And, we had a great conversation. This girl and I, and positives. Let me tell you about positives. She did not one moment, look at her cell phone while she was there talking to me. And we talked for like 2 hours before we finally ordered food. That's how much I was entertained and like mesmerized with talking to this girl. So I'm like, wow, this is pretty amazing. It's never happened before, at least. Not at OkCupid girls. And, I thought we had great chemistry. We went back and forth. I mean, she shared an experience, I shared an experience, and, everything was great. We never got around to talking about music. I mean, there were tons of subjects that we never even touched upon. There was lots of things that I would have loved to have gotten into subject with her, but she was like, time flies when you're having fun, and it did. So we finally ordered food. She kept eating these rolls. She looked adorable eating these rolls. She wasn't kidding when she said she loved them. And, finally ordered food. Everything was great. I paid for dinner because that's what, a gentleman does. And I knew it from the start that I was going to do that. I had no problems with that. And we leave. And I had to get home quickly because I needed to get to work at 5 a.m. in the morning. And but I would have gone out with her to a bar or whatever. If I now had a choice, I would have gone out with her to a bar and continued the night. But we left it at that, and I thought, wow, that was one amazing date, first date. And so I thought. So I leave, she leaves. I tell her, I don't kiss her because obviously, first date, I'd never kiss a girl on a first date. And we leave. She tells me when she gets home. I got home, whatever. And I thought, like, wow, I really have something special here, aside, and I'll get to that. But, she's got, we talked a lot, and a lot of subjects were touched upon. Not all of the subjects that I really like to talk about, but hey, it's only so little time in the day. So, so I'm expecting, something, hey, let's get together tomorrow or whatever. And she's busy. And she doesn't want to. Or she's busy, or she's with friends. And it's always some other stuff. I'm like, okay, for somebody who wanted to go out, like, who said yes to going out, she's pretty, like indecisive in that case, in that sense. And so I'm thinking, well, all right, we keep trying. I'll wait. If she's that fantastic, I'll just wait till she finishes classes, whatever, and we'll have the rest of the summer to like go out and get to know each other better. And so I thought, because that's what that's what you plan for if you're trying to go out with somebody. You don't just randomly decide, yeah, sure, let's go out. No. And it's like a week later or something. She tells me all this. All of a sudden, I finally like, hey, you want to get together? All these days, I'm like, hey, you want to get together? Let's have lunch, let's dinner, whatever. I'll do whatever, wherever you want to. And then at one point, I get home from work late, and all of a sudden, she's like, oh, I can't, I dreaded telling you this, but I'm really thinking more of friendship right now, some bullshit like that. I'm like, wait, what? It's like, what? Seriously? And I'm writing on like, she must be like, I don't know, tired or whatever. But no, she kept at it. I'm like, wait, one date, and that's all you need to make an assessment over whether or not you want to keep going out with a person? And I'm like, I tell her, there are so many things we don't even know about each other, and you're just, wow. And I'm thinking, my personal, like, primal thought here, my principal thought was like, with all the bad shit that she experienced with previous guys, I must have been a piece of shit human being to not even get a chance to do better than they did. It's like, I'm like, wow, damn. And I'm like, I have my friend. He's a psychologist, and he's in Paris or some bullshit like that. So we Skype constantly. He's living there with his boyfriend and stuff. He's a psychologist, great psychologist, by the way. So I tell him, like, everything from start to bottom, everything, because he wants to know, and he and his boyfriend want to know, like, what happened, And I tell him the bad news, and he's like, what? Bad news? He's like, bad news? What do you mean bad news? She didn't like you? I'm like, apparently not. And he's like, wow. And you can see he calls his boyfriend like, hey Joe, you need to hear this shit. And I'm like, oh God, now I'm making a blog about it. But anyway, so I explained to him everything. He wants to know from top to bottom, left to right, what kind of conversations we had, so that he could like analyze it better. And it didn't take him like it took him like a minute to realize. He was like, oh, back up. And I explained to him about, you know, her previous experience having been married and then divorced, and it was pretty painful for her because she had just gotten off pretty bad, you know, news of being diagnosed with multiple sclerosis and everything. And he left her and stuff like that. And the next guy that she most recently dated or something they went out a couple of times, and apparently he unfriended her and she refriended him or some bullshit like that 4 times, like 1, 2, 3, 4 kind of thing. And he's like, whoa, go back to that. He's like, time out. You need to stay away from that girl. And I'm like, why? He's like, she is dangerous for you because she is right now at this point undecided on what she wants for her life. And I'm like, what? But she was on OkCupid, like, you know, you pretty much know what you want. You know, you want to go out with somebody or you just want to fuck them or whatever, but you know, you're pretty honest about it, especially after you go out with somebody. It's like, no. This girl is exhibiting some excess baggage from her past relationships, and she's carrying that. And she's dangerous. She is really, really dangerous. I'm like, and it's like, wow. I'm like, so he explains to me why that is, because I was kind of like shocked about the whole thing. So he explains to me that, you know, she went there going out with me, but she was still like thinking about this other guy. And it's a possibility that she might have used, you know, hey, I went out with this guy, great time or whatever, just to get the other guy jealous, so that, you know, because apparently women do that nowadays. And I know they do, but, you know, try to give this girl the benefit of the doubt, if you know what I mean. And he tells me all this, and I'm like, really? He's like, yeah. You were, you know, you weren't even in the picture, to be honest. She was just answering you. And I'm like, but it doesn't make sense. And that's when he explains, how often did she text you? And that's when it kind of hits on, oh, yeah, he's right. Like, she texted you because, you know, nobody else was talking to her, so she might as well, you know, but did she text me back constantly or whatever? No. And I'm like, I tell him, you know, she was studying and everything. She's got a class. And he's like, yeah, I have a class. And my boyfriend has a class. And we text each other when we need to text each other. And trust me, we can do 2 things at once. And I'm like, wait. It's like, okay, I told him, you know, you need to explain this to me, moron, like moron instructions. He's like, okay. You know how you're sometimes in a class, but your cell phone is silent? Well, that's what the cell phone silent is for, you know, to text without people knowing or interrupting class. And I'm like, well, what if she takes it online? It's like, doesn't matter. Even worse, because that means she's right there next to the phone or whatever, and she can't even pick it up to text you. No, man, she's not thinking about you. You were just there. And I'm like, so apparently, she was carrying excess baggage from previous experiences with guys, and I was pretty much, what was the name? What was the word he? I wrote it. I was a rebound guy, you know, and I'm like, what? No. So every single assessment that I had made of this girl was completely false, and I probably was duped from the start. And it's a shame, because, you know, I really thought she was the genuine, nice, you know, hardworking, smart American girl. And I realized, you know, that no matter where I am at least from my experiences with OkCupid, women just go there to kind of either make other guys jealous or just try to paint this image of themselves as being saints or whatever, and when they're not. And I was duped into that. I guess I was a victim of that, and that's a shame, because, wow, she was awesome, and it's a shame. It's a real shame. He also said other things, like, you know, the fact that, you know, she's taking a bunch of medication and all that shit. that that's a bad sign, because that means that it's an up and down kind of behavior. Some days she'll feel this, some days she'll feel that, and that's something I don't want to get into. And I was like shocked. He analyzed the whole thing. I told him like excerpts from my text with her and everything, and he was like, nope, you don't want that. You don't want that. And there were simple things, little things that I would have like completely overlooked. And he's like, this means this. You know what this means, Andres? This, he said some things, but I don't want to repeat them. Anyway, point is that I closed my OkCupid account because it's just not worth it. And to be honest, you know, that night when she told me that she could only be friends or whatever, we had like a long back and forth, and she told me, let me think about it. You know, you don't tell somebody if you want to go out with them or not. Again, let me think about it, because, you know, I'm not trying to buy your used car. I'm not some prize to be won or some jackpot waiting there in the corner that I'll wait forever. No, you know, and I won't, because it's not right. It's not right for me. And to be honest, I thought she was something that apparently she's not, and that's a sad, you know, I got pretty much tricked into thinking that. And I've decided to close my OkCupid account because, you know, it's just not worth it. I gave it another shot thinking, you know, hey, what if? But, you know, the what if is just not worth my time. And he told me, what was it? Messenger. He messaged me from, you know, Facebook Messenger. And it's funny because Facebook kept suggesting her as a friend. I'm like, no, hell no. Come on, really? She told me like, oh, we could be friends. I'm like, really? We could be friends and do what? Like, I'll have to look at her every time and see like, wow, I was not good enough for her. What other guys did, I'm paying the price for. That's another thing he would told me, that I'm paying the price. My lack of not getting an opportunity to be with a woman like her is the result of some other guys like wasting her time, pretty much. And that was really, really, I mean, what he said to me hurt a lot, and he told me this is going to hurt you a lot, but you were duped. You were doomed from the start. You didn't know that, which is okay, but you were there to just entertain. That's it. And I'm like, wow. I mean, I was pissed too, because deep in my mind I was like, God damn, I wish he would just call me and to prove him wrong, because he was like laying it out real thick. And, you know, I love him. I love all my gay friends, but he's the most honest about it, but the most brutal. And he said it to me, you know, Andres, you are one of a kind. You don't deserve this kind of treatment. And the fact that I am, you know, I am above this kind of behavior from me. The fact that I'm like basically begging her to go out with me. He said I should not do that ever again, because begging is beneath me. I needed to hear that from him, you know. The next day I felt great. I was like, you know, I went to work and everything, and I was like, oh yeah, that. So it was pretty much it. But yeah, it's sad because but then again, I always get tricked by some girl who looks the part and then just happens to be something completely different. And he even suggested that I go to church or just try to meet a girl at local Chili's or whatever. I would have much better success at finding somebody who will give me the undivided attention that dating requires. And there's a lot of things he said, a lot of things that made me think like, wow. Especially what he said, like, this means this and this means that. The fact that she wrote to me and she said she wants to feel something and she feels bad because she can't. And I'm like, what? I mean, he told me that was a lie. That was a blatant lie, and that's unfortunate because I don't like being lied to. If you're going to be honest, you know. But don't paint a picture of yourself as something you're not if you're not going to be that. Anyway, so I'm pretty much done with these dating sites. I don't know which other dating sites I have around, but I know OkCupid is the worst. If I ever return there, I'm gonna just start clean and do a new account and shit, because I'm tired. I just don't want anybody that I previously talked to in my first account to just be there. It's just bad memories anyway. So yeah, my verdict on the whole thing is, to be honest, you meet somebody in person. That's it. The fact that you resort to these kind of dating sites just goes to show you that you have absolutely no charisma. And I was scolded by some of my friends for joining this kind of site. They were like, wow, really? You, of all people, Mr. Charisma, Mr. Oh, God, I'm not going to say that over here. But anyway, they were like, you don't need that shit. You don't need this aggravation in your life right now. I just got promoted. And these people in my job are taking care of everything, every single bill I've got. And it's pretty amazing. They fixed my car. They picked up the bill for that too. So what can I say? I mean, life is good. So, but in my opinion, you'll meet somebody, that's good for you. Nobody's ever going to be perfect. What you should look for is someone that's perfect for you. Lots and lots of defects. That's what I like. Defects left and right. Hey, we learn from those defects, from those mistakes and all that shit, so it's a good thing. And what can I say? We're back here on YouTube, finally. And I'm going to, I don't know, maybe I'll play something tonight. Anyway, that's to reply to your question after asking me about what was my most recent experience dating on dating sites. Well, there you go. You wanted to know? There you go. Well, that's it. It's pretty sad, but hey, then again, I get what I deserve. I trusted somebody and I got shafted. Nothing new, story of my life. So, hey, just don't make the same mistakes I do. You don't want to get to this age and second guess yourself. You want to take the risk. You want to be able to, say, you know what, I failed miserably, and I did. But at least I had the balls to go through with what I wanted to try and do. Somebody else didn't want to even give it a shot. That's up to them. But I can lay back on my bed, a very comfortable bed, I might add, and say, you know what? Nobody ever wrote a book about cowards. So, I'll leave you guys with that. This is Andres Rickahoff for Rickahoff X1, and I am signing off.